Page 27, Whirling Dirvish. Okay. They're introducing intervals, fourth and fifths. We've already had second and thirds. A fourth and a fifth is just a little further apart. So if I start on C, I go up 4 notes. Remember, we don't have 0. You have to start on 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's an interval of a fourth. Fifth would be the next one up. It's an interval of a fifth. Okay, that's really hard. Oh boy. And that's fourths and fifths. Let's talk about this Whirling Dirvish though. They've got some neat, interesting things going on here. First off, it's in 2/4 time, so there's only 2 beats per measure. And the thing is almost all eighth notes. Not all, but a lot of it is eighth notes. So you're going to go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, or as the book says, ta-ti, 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 ta-ti. I don't know if I could do that very long with a straight face. Well, I'm sticking with 1 and 2 and. Look at the beginning between the stabs. You see number 1 with an F and then number 2 with a P. That tells you all right there you're going to play this, at least some of it, twice. Because the first time you're playing it, you're going to play it loud. F means loud. And the second time you play it, you're going to play it soft. P means soft. So let's find out what's going on. Well, when we get to the end of the second line, you see a repeat sign. Repeat sign means go back to the beginning. Unless there's a reverse repeat sign, there isn't. So we go back to the beginning. So we're going to play the first 2 lines twice. Then we go down and we play the last 2 lines. Now, at the end of the last line, there's a DC al fine. DC means go back to the beginning. Al fine means go to fine. So after you've played the first 2 lines twice, you go down and play the last 2 lines. Now you go back and you play the first 2 lines again, because the fine is at the end of the second line. Now normally on a DC or a DS al fine, you ignore all repeats. You don't repeat anything. You just play it straight through. But they have a note here to repeat both times, which means they want you to repeat the first 2 lines again on the DC. So, first 2 lines twice, then the last 2 lines, then go back and do the first 2 lines twice again. Whew. Take notes if you have to. Oh, good grief. Now, they have in this book, in the notation, 3rd and 4th line, you see 2 little X's. That's not part of music notation. That's just something they've added in to tell you that they're skipping 2 notes in there to get an interval of a fourth. Because a fourth has 2 notes in the middle. Okay, and that's all that those X's mean for this book. You won't see those like this in music notation. There is a symbol, the X is used for something, but not this. So as far as I'm concerned, you disregard these X's, pretend they're not there. Staccato, but the last 2 measures of the second line, you have a pedal. Those are not staccato, obviously. And look at the last measure of the first line. I just jump around, keep you going, right? Stay up. The very first note, that D, has the stem going down by itself. The next note, the A, has the stem going up. Well, there's an LH above the D, okay? That means left hand. So that's telling you, use your left hand, cross it over, and play the D for that one note. Now, the stems tell you that, but the books, these beginning books, will put the LH and RH in there so you know for sure which hand to use. But normally when you would see a stem going down like that, you would just know, use the other hand for that note. Be the same thing in the bass clef. If you had notes down low and suddenly a stem was going up, you'd use the right hand for that note, right? You'd cross it over. When you cross over, you always go above. There's very few exceptions when you would cross below. Almost always over. Don't try and go under. And then these beginning books, go over. Okay, you can count on it. So if I play the last 2 measures of the first line, it's this. Now I have to get my hand up there before I need to play the note. So I'm going to do that as I'm playing those 2/8 notes in the right hand. Again, watch. Now try doing that and keep it all even and everything else going on. Good luck. Okay. Now, the last measure of the second line, that half note, that has an LH above it. That means left hand. So the left hand is going to play that note. So if I do the last two measures of the second line without the pedal, it's this. And I'm going to leave my hands in this position until the end. All right, those two beats are done. Because normally you would think, well, you're done with the right hand, just take it down. But it's good technique, good practice. Leave it there until you're all done, and then you take everything away at the same time. The hands come up, the pedal comes up, it all ends at the same time. Take a look at the second measure, first line. The first measure, the first line, you're here, hands are here in D. Second measure, you got to go up one note into an E position. It's just one note. See if you can learn to do that without looking at the keys. Do you want to develop a feel for the keyboard? And the sooner you do that, the better you are. On the second line, you're on the D to start, but in that second measure, you got to go down to a C. Again, see if you can do it without looking down at the keyboard. It really helps. If you don't want to look at the keyboard anymore, and you absolutely have to. When you cross the hand over, you got to look at the keyboard to see where the D is. Right? That's fine. When you're moving your hand that much, you got to look down. Otherwise, you shouldn't have to look down. Now, if this is like your second or third time of going through this book, and you're getting this, and I don't know how fast Vivace is for this piece of it. Who knows? So you decide how fast you want to play, but play it accurately however you do it. The last two measures of the third line. The chords. If you can, the melody's the top note. See if you can connect it. And still get them down at the same time. This is not a beginner's technique. If it's a problem for you, forget it. You can do it later. If you can, connect them. It's kind of fun, I think. Same thing with the last two measures of the last line in the left hand. The melody is the top note. They don't have a slur over it. Don't care. See if you can connect them. You can't connect the other note because it's the same note. And you can't connect the same note on a piano unless you use the pedal. Every time the key comes up, the sound stops. Even for an instant, the sound still stops. But you can connect them when they're different pitches. Takes a little bit of practice and some control, but if you start developing that control now, you're going to be a little bit further ahead later on. All right? My suggestion. You don't have to. Forget all that if you don't want it. Now, they are also introducing a crescendo and decrescendo. The long arrow. These are not accents. These are not little accents above or below a note. These are long ones that extend two or more notes. All right, and they can extend long ways too. Man, it just makes it fun. But you see them at the last two measures of the first line, and there's one at the next to the last measure of the second line. They simply, crescendo means get louder. And the way I read these is we read normally with English, we read from left to right. My left, you're going this way, I'm going this way. Makes it fun, doesn't it? So you simply read the arrow. If the arrow starts at a point, you're at your softer point, and as the arrow gets wider, you get louder. If the arrow starts with the wide side, then that's the louder point, and as it narrows up to a point, you get softer. So simply read the arrow as you go along, and it'll tell you to get louder or softer. That's how I remember it. You use whatever method you want. So let's try this. Now as I play this on our do it together, I'm going to play it all about the same loudness because I want you to hear it. But when you're playing it, try and do the louds and soft like you're supposed to. It's a good habit to get into. The third line is marked MF, which is medium loud, sort of loud, a little louder than medium soft, whatever that is. I don't know. You decide. We'll see. Vivace means really fast. This is faster than Allegro. It's not the fastest, but it's faster than Allegro. Okay? We're not going to take it fast. We're going to take it slow. I do everything slow in these videos. I put the metronome on 50 because of the eighth notes. Okay? Because watch the metronome. You're going 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. Those eighth notes are clicking along at a pretty good pace. Alright, the hands are going to be, see the little fingers on D, and it doesn't tell you, but you put your thumb on the other D in the right hand here. And so you're on D position, and you're staying there except for when the left hand crosses over to play the high D. Right? So you're not moving around a bunch. So put your hands where they go. Foot's on the pedal. I'll give you 4 counts because we're still beginning here. Normally with 2/4 I just give you 2 count. Okay, ready and go, and it would go. Let's do it with 4 counts. 1, 2, ready and go, and.